Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Valvoline and Sparesbox. Don't forget BCW5 on checkout. This week, we're back on the little Rex. We're going to be doing a ton of maintenance things because we don't actually have any service history with the car. That may turn up in the mail at some point, but for now, we're just going to pretty much assume that this thing's never been serviced. In saying that, it actually looks pretty clean, so I'd say it has. But today we've got things like valve cover gasket, spark plugs, time belt kit, water pump. Going to be doing some fluids. We've got some engine oil and some coolant there. We've got some shifter bushes, and we're also going to be changing the combination switch on the steering column. So stacked to do today, so we're going to hook straight in. Let's get to it. Being under the car now, it looks amazingly clean. There's, very minor surface rust, almost to the point where it's more actually just staining than rust under the car. But the one thing I have noticed is someone's actually repaired the exhaust, and I think from memory these normally have two little mufflers that should be in the middle, and I'd say they're probably rusted out because these exhausts were pretty bad to rust out on the Australian delivered ones. So I could only imagine the Japanese ones are pretty similar. It's not a terrible job, but it's not amazing. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there because I don't really want to go putting an aftermarket exhaust on. I had all these grand plans to muck with this car and modify it heaps, but it's actually just too good. I don't want to stuff with it because it's super neat. And I actually think it might be a bit of a collector's piece. As far as I know, it's probably the only one in the country. There's a few converted Fioris out there, but this is the only genuine Rex that I know of. So I'm very much on the fence about modifying it. So we're just going to keep kind of maintaining its originality at this point, I think. Now I've just replaced the shifter bushes in this shifter assembly. It is way easier to change the bushes if you just remove the whole thing because these top ones are actually pretty hard to get to in the car. And if you've got the access of a hoist or something, it takes literally a second to pull these things out. I'm actually a little bit surprised at the bush condition considering the play in the shifter. But what I think's actually happened is the bushes, rather than deteriorate and turn to powder like they normally do, is they've just gone really soft. This front bush here, which we're not changing, actually looks really good anyway. So yeah, we've just put the six little, I guess they're probably some sort of urethane, replace all of those bushes. And it does seem like there's a little bit less play in it already. So I'm gonna fit this thing back up and then continue along working on the car. Oh, that's right, the intercooler is half in that manifold on this model. A little bit of rust there. Such huge shoulder bolts for tiny little threads, like they're only 6mm threads. Plugs look pretty good. They're not heavily worn. I mean, you can see they've done some Ks, so I'd say they're not that old, but while you're here, it's worth doing them. We don't know how many Ks are on them, so I want to make sure that we get a bit of a datum so we know where we're at. One crank and pulley. I call him Crankenstein. Hi-ho dipstick. Away. Well, it's pretty dry in there, so that's a good sign. There's a bit of oil on the front edge, but I honestly think that's just running down from the rock cover. Because if there was seals leaking inside there, you'd have oil flung all the way around the cover, and it's not really like that. It's not too bad actually. It's not mint by any means, but it's not particularly noisy, which is slightly odd actually in saying that. All the rust dust, say that 5 times. All the rust dust in the timing cover, I reckon, is the water pump pulley, because this car would have sat in Japan. I reckon that water pump pulley is corroded, and then when it started, all the dust in there is from the rust burning off on the pulley. You know what's slightly amusing about the water pump? On this tiny little engine, the water pump bolts are bigger than they are on a WRX. Useless fact of the day. Ah, the Kool-Aid. We got no drain tray. One bloody hose. What will it hit on coming out? Probably something else. No, that's a nice change. That legit is the worst design ever. Huh. 2 hours of my life, I'm never gonna get back there. This 60mm long piece of hose has just been 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. Oh yes, there's marks on it. My favorite. First start up, will it go bang? Nope, we don't have oil pressure. Get all the fingerprints out. These Jap timing belt stickers are mad because you go and you peel that bit off and then you don't get any fingerprints on it. And you seal it. And then you peel it. Well, even the best laid plans don't always turn out the way you'd hoped. And this thing just kicked me all day today. Fortunately, we got it to the point where it's at least back together and driving. Unfortunately, we didn't finish all the tasks we had planned to set out today. But we did get the timing belt done. We got the water pump done, air filters done, spark plugs, rocker cover gasket, also done engine oil and coolant. So next episode, we're going to be doing gearbox oil, brake fluid, fixing our headlight issue inside the car. We did replace the headlight bulbs today also actually because it had aftermarket LED ones in it. And they were just actually too bright. As dumb as that sounds, low beam was too bright and everyone was flashing me all the time. So yeah, I really wanted to sort of get rid of those and put it back to original. The other thing is too, because the fog lights are still yellow, having really white headlights and then yellow fog lights, it kind of looked a bit odd. So I've just gone back to a sort of a standard Nava H4 style bulb. So they're in there, it's all back together. We've still got the funnel bucket in because I'm just going to leave it overnight just to bleed any extra air out. Also then it basically sets your cold coolant level and then you can fill your overflow bottle to the low point, and then that's all pretty well sweet on the level front. But yeah, we've pretty much buttoned up what we could today. Oil sorted, as I said, so pretty stoked with the result, even though it wasn't what we'd aimed for. At least it's to the point where I can drive it out and work on other stuff tomorrow. So that's pretty much us done. Next episode, we'll be back on this again. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you next time.